Well, welcome to Hamilton County Newsmakers. I'm Perry Williams, and my guest today is Mark Heirbrandt. He is running for commissioner here in Hamilton County. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you for having me today, Perry.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, because, you know, the next Tuesday's rapidly getting here, okay? It's almost over. Been some good things. You got to have the opportunity to go out and meet some people and shake hands and do things like that, and do a lot of positive things as it comes with the politics side of it. Let's talk a little bit about you, Mark, and your background, and tell the people about your family and how long you've been here in Hamilton County.
Great. Thanks for having me here. I have been a Hamilton County resident for 25 years. I've been married to my lovely wife, Gina, for 25 years. We currently live in Westfield. I've lived in Noblesville, Carmel, and then my wife got an itch to move up to Westfield, so I had to follow. And then we've got 3 boys. My oldest is in his junior year of college, and Ethan and Evan are twins. And they are juniors at Westfield High School, and they play soccer. Real proud of them, and I'm looking forward to getting this election over with and moving on. I've got a lot of initiatives to try to continue on, and I'm tired of the negativity, and I'm ready to move on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the things on how you got to become commissioner, because it's kind of a little bit different angle, because you were chosen by the caucus, because we were very, very fortunate. We elected Doug Carter here in Hamilton County to fill that commissioner spot, and then Doug got the great opportunity when Governor Pence was elected to be the superintendent of state police, which, you know, that's a lifelong dream to a policeman to have that high level job. So Doug had to step down because of the state laws that you couldn't do that. You couldn't serve as a commissioner or hold an elected office and also hold an office in the state. So tell us a little bit about how this, because you were at Westfield just being a community servant and serving on different committees. Talk a little bit about that.
You know, I had no intent whatsoever to get into politics. It just happened. I got very involved, not only in my church community service, but volunteered in a lot of different organizations. And I had the opportunity to meet with Mayor Cook, and he had asked me to serve on the Public Board of Works. And it didn't take a lot of time when we first started. I mean, maybe a month meeting, that was it. It was maybe an hour. But as they got to know me a little bit more and they got me more involved in things, I got very involved, and they got me involved in some big projects there. And one of the things was we were really trying to strive and get some economic development happening there in Westfield, because it just was not happening. There was not a strong commercial base there, and we. Mayor Cook put myself and Todd Bertrand and the late John Dipple on a committee. Jim Ake helped out on that as well, and we negotiated the Citizens Energy deal that produced $91 million and some additional surplus. And it was funny, Perry, because I'll never forget in the beginning conversations, Mayor Cook had said to us, he says, you know, Mark, if we could get $25 million, that would be great. And to see that we got 91 million, that really helped spur a lot of development, and you're seeing it just boom over there right now. And so with all of that happening, I did get to meet Doug Carter. I'd only known him for a couple years, and we got to become very good friends. When he thought that he might be able to step down and take this position as superintendent of state police, he called me, and it was actually the day before Thanksgiving, and he said, Mark, you know, I want you to run for county commissioner. I may be taking this superintendent of state police job. And I said, I have no intent whatsoever to do that. And he goes, you're going to do it, and you're going to run, and I want you to talk to your wife about it. And I did, and she told me to go for it. And I ran against 7 people, and I was blessed and had the opportunity to be able to serve. And my first 6 months, I felt like I was drinking out of a fire hose. But I soon was able to start wrapping my arms around some of the things here and going out and listening to the citizens, and really kind of got that bug to, the public service part of it, that I really wanted to be out there and help. And I think I've been able to help a lot of people, especially up in the northern tier that we've talked about several times.
You know, the one thing about it, you mentioned a key word that I really, that I sometimes think that you not being a politician, and politicians today just talk to hear themselves talk. And you mentioned in your words, in those first 6 months, you did a lot of listening. Okay,
that's what I did.
And the one thing about it is, when I first met you, in my mind over here in Noblesville, you were kind of a virtually unknown, but everywhere I went, you were there. You were at Sheridan, you were at Hamilton Heights, so you were in all those areas. Even though a typical politician would say, I'm not going to worry about those people up there because the votes aren't up there. You represent Hamilton County, so you're representing this whole county.
That's right.
And people in Arcadia and Cicero and Atlanta and Sheridan, they have a little bit different problems, but they still have problems.
They do, Perry. And I will tell you, one thing that always got me was when I was running, people always said, well, you're from Westfield. And I said, shame on you, because it doesn't matter where I live, it's how you serve those communities. And that's what I've done. And, there's, been discussion that, hey, we need a representative from Fishers. Well, that's all well and good. But I think that what you've seen that I've been there to help every one of those communities, whether I represent those areas or not. And State Road 37 is going to provide one of the biggest impacts that the city of Fishers will ever probably see in my lifetime, as well as Noblesville will too, because it will be a game changer over there on that side of town. Absolutely.
And the one thing about you mentioned that, and I can remember the remarks back when the Steve Holt and the Steve Dillingers in the world wanted to put in 146th Street.
Right, exactly.
And all the grief they took about putting running 146th Street east and west in this county. And if you think about it now and you go out on 146th Street, where would we be today if we didn't have 146th Street? And I think 37's the same way, just like the situation with 31 over in the Carmel Westfield area.
That's exactly right. And sometimes you have to make very difficult decisions, no matter in what elected position that you're in. We saw failing intersections. We saw safety standards that in a growing community that was going to double in 2050, and we needed to be able to. We made it our number one priority as commissioners to get that particular project done. But I couldn't agree with you more, because 146th Street, they told the commissioners they had asphalt for brains.
Yeah, that's
is
right.
What they did,
yeah.
And it was a packed commissioner forum on this particular subject. And now look at it. What would we be without 146th Street? So
the growth wouldn't be here.
It would not.
It would not.
It would not. And sometimes you do have to make tough decisions. But very sympathetic with the business corridor over there. We were able to get local control because we do care about those businesses that are on there. We wanted to work directly with them. We're looking at funding too, to help to do advertising during the construction period to help those businesses. As someone from the IBJ told me, they said, this is unheard of. In all the years I've been doing road projects, I've never heard of such a thing. And I told her, I said, this was something that we really fought for, and we want those businesses to continue to stay there, and we want to work with them during that process.
Absolutely. Well, we kind of ran out of time in this first segment. Let's take a break, and we'll come right back, and we'll talk a little bit longer.
All right, sounds great.
Sound good.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Well, we're back here at Hamilton County Newsmakers. I have Mark Heirbrandt, who is rapidly coming up to election time here on this coming Tuesday. And we've been talking about your first 3.5 years in office as commissioner and some of the things that have gone on. And we were talking earlier about northern Hamilton County, and one of the things that I think this is a very interesting story. As you well know, we are very big supporters of the Atlanta Earth Festival because it's a great tourism piece for our county because of the number of people that come to Atlanta, Indiana one time a year. And last year you were the sponsor of that event, and you had your wife come up and she saw these pictures and signs with your name on it, and she goes, "What is this?"
It's been it's somewhat embarrassing to see your name up in certain places, only because I haven't been around this political atmosphere at all, and to see that, and then to see a commercial and some other things that we're doing, it's kind of embarrassing because I'm just not used to that. That's just not me.
Well, I think that the whole take I took from it too was you and your wife. I mean, you did it because you felt like it was the right thing to do.
I did.
You weren't looking for any accolades or marks.
God bless those people up there because they really wanted to promote me up there, and they know how hard that I've worked for those small communities up there in northern Hamilton County. And I tell you what, I mean, as an elected official, the one thing that I appreciate more, and the thing that kind of drives me more than anything, is simply the word thank you. I mean, that probably drives me more than anything, and those people are so appreciative up there in those communities, and they're people that I want to help, and I want to do whatever I can. And I always figured that they've asked me if I wanted to get involved, and I said sure. I'd like to put my money where my mouth is, and I'd like to see what I could do to help some of those small communities up there.
And sometimes you have to go in those communities where there's some feelings, ill feelings going on up there. Like your situation in Jackson Township with the fire issue there, and some things that have gone on in Sheridan that you have attended meetings and listened to their problems and what they could.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I try not to pick any sides up there at all. My intent is really to look at what the citizens need and what we can do to benefit those citizens up there. Number one, it's not about who's in control or who's going to run this or run that. It's all about, in the end, and I try to remind everybody up there that that's what we need to keep in mind, is in making sure that we're able to serve those citizens up there the best we can.
Yeah, because I can remember one of your very first because it was at a Sheridan meeting and chamber meeting, and they were talking about you had just taken over and how they had called you over there, and which was a huge problem out on 31 there and 38. When they did that overpass there was no lighting, and
Nothing.
it wasn't anything in the
Nothing.
in the works for
Yeah.
lighting there, and the citizens of Sheridan were concerned about people coming and going down 31 and
Yeah.
coming to 38, coming into Sheridan, about accidents happen there, and
Yeah.
and you went to work on that.
We did. We got that done. It's some of the little things too
Yeah,
that
I
are
mean-
really important. I mean,
Yeah.
they have all the traffic coming through for Grand Park that's coming through their community. I went to NDOT. I got a sign put up so that they could take back roads to get into Grand Park and relieve some of the traffic congestion up there. We've worked on items that have been discussed, huge drainage issues up there that need help, and we've made significant progress up there in Sheridan. You know, those people are so appreciative. They asked for some help on their park. They got a beautiful park
do.
up there, veterans. I think my very first week or 2 weeks there, I went up there and donated $1,000 to help them do some improvements there to the park up there, and you don't get to see some of the other things. There's a lot of talk, negative talk about these vendors and things like that, but you never get to talk about some of the good things, all the non-for-profits that we have here that I've been involved in, multiple ones, and I've donated a lot of money to them as well, and volunteered. But a lot of those they always seem to get overlooked.
Yeah.
So,
But the one great thing, you were commenting about Veterans Park, but over in Sheridan, they have a nice park there in Veterans Park,
They
but
do.
Biddle Park,
Biddle Park as
is a
well.
nice little park,
It
and the
is.
same way with up in Cicero with Redge Bridge Park
Yeah.
right there on the
Beautiful.
lake, and then the Cicero Park, which in my mind for a small town in that area around Cicero. Their 4th of July ceremonies are
it's
top notch,
great.
and
It's
the
great.
hard work that they put into it.
Yeah, they really do, and they're very proud people too.
Yeah.
As well. It was funny because when we were coming back from the Atlanta Festival with my wife, I took her and we went across the bridge, and she got to see the new walkway, and it was like, wow, look at this.
Yeah.
Man, what a great improvement, and everybody's so proud of that, and I see a lot of development going up to Cicero here in the next 5 to 10 years. They're doing a great job up there.
Yeah, and they've started a Cicero Main Street up there too, and they
Yeah.
have a big event coming up here
Looking
that they're
forward
going to
to
have
it. Looking
the
forward
meal
to it.
on the causeway up there.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a wonderful event,
Yeah.
and people can see firsthand what with that sun going down and everything there on the lake, that's going to be an outstanding event, and I've been up there and helped them at Cicero on the Main Street with my involvement here in Noblesville, and man, the enthusiasm up there is unbelievable.
It really is. It's exciting because not only is the town and the citizens getting behind this, but you got a local restaurant up there, 10 West, that's getting involved in that, and I love seeing that work collaboration and the community getting behind things like this, because people remember these things and they look forward to them, and I think that it's going to be a great event. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, look, we've got some things coming up here on the horizon once the elections are over, and we have some new members on the county council, and of course the election of the commissioners and everything, and we get to, but there's still some things on the table like the training for our
Public safety training.
public safety training business, and also a program that Judge Nation has been very, very strong about, our youth assistance program, which
Yeah.
we kind of started in Westfield, and which you've been a big part about.
I have been.
Talk about
Yeah.
those two things that we still got a lot of work to do on them.
We have a lot of work to do, and I'm very proud of what Andy Cook started over there in Westfield. I've been involved in that, I think, for around 7 years now. We just completed our 6th award ceremony that we had over there last week, and this program has been so successful. It's in all of our schools right now here in Hamilton County. But there's tremendous need for our young students that need help, and there's a long list there. And so, not only have I been involved with that program, trying to start and initiate these different programs, but I've been involved from a financial standpoint as well to help some of these schools to help kick off their programs as well. It's a great program.
Yeah, and we, of course, you're talking about adding on the judicial building, and then trying to enhance along White River there the
River Walk.
So there's
a lot of things that we've got our hands wrapped around. I mean, another one's the jail with this House Bill 1006 that just came through, and we are going to start getting an influx of level 6 inmates, and we have to be able to supply capacity for them. So we may have to do some expansion onto our jail to accommodate that from the Department of Corrections. They're going to be sending them to us. But then we've got, as you mentioned, the government expansion that we're going to need to address. Looking at the possibility of a bypass around Noblesville, it's much needed. There's a lot of things going on that we still have a lot of work to do.
And then another component that I know you've been a big part on, that I've attended and seen you at meetings on the drug task force and the drug problem. Even though probably we don't have as big a drug problem as other counties in the state or in the country, but that doesn't mean we want to drop the ball and not pay attention to it.
Absolutely not. And with that too, you bring up a great subject: mental illness. Aspire has been very helpful on that, but I think getting a lot of the people, not only from the state but also the different counties to and the cities and towns, to all get together, share different ideas, what they're seeing, and come up with strategic programs to help to try to help offset some of these, and some programs to help these not only kids but adults as well.
Mark, we kind of come to the end here today on the show a little bit. Anything you would like to say here to the people at the end? I think we pretty well covered some of the success stories that have gone on in the last 3.5 years, and have been some big things.
And they sure have.
There's a lot of work to be done still.
I got to tell you, I'm very proud over the last 3.5 years of what we've been able to accomplish. I mean, to get 2 statewide awards recognized by your peers for accomplishments that you've had, significant accomplishments, has been very satisfying. I'm very proud to get endorsements by all the mayors. Every city council except for one, because we've got a Hamilton or a chairman that she has to stay neutral on, and but to get all the town councils as well up in that northern tier, the firefighters, the FOP, to get all these endorsements is really gratifying, and it helps, makes me feel good that we're heading in the right direction, and we're going to try to continue that as well.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming by here and spending some time with us at Hamilton County TV, giving you the opportunity to talk, and we'll get this information out to the people. And it's coming up Tuesday, election time.
It is. I'm ready.
All right. Well,
great.
This is Perry Williams, and I'll see you next week on Hamilton County Newsmakers.
Thank you.